Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Wide Receiver Wednesdays. I'm your host, Herman Moore, former NFL All-Pro wide receiver with your Detroit Lions, to break down more footage on some of the young prospects and the young players at the wide receiver position. Hey, I know you want to see this exclusive content that you can only get on Lions Nation Unite, but you got to like our video and you got to subscribe to this channel. So go ahead and hit that subscription button. And at the end, don't forget to go ahead and like this video. Let's talk about a young player from the 2021 NFL Draft, picked in the 4th round, and that is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Here's a young man. He is 5'11", almost 200 pounds. I think he plays a lot bigger than what he looks. And I had the opportunity to meet him last year at the training camp. And I'll tell you this, what I was impressed with Amon-Ra St. Brown was the fact that as a rookie player, he was out late after practice. This is after long practices. This is after him just going out and having to learn all these plays. He was there on the jugs machine. He was the last one coming off the field. I watched him run routes. I watched him just work on his technique and his craft. And that's sometimes tough to teach in a young wide receiver. But Antoine Randall, the Lions offensive wide receiver coach, did just that. He let the young man go out and do his thing, but he also brought him along the way. We were looking at all the other receivers that the Lions were going to have, and they thought that they were going to be the ones that were going to lead the charge, but it turns out to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. So let's break down a few of his plays to show you exactly what he did. You know, this was a player, 90 catches, over 900 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He was only targeted 30-some times in the first 11 games of the season, and then he came on with an explosion near the end where ultimately we start to see him shine. A lot of people may point that to the fact that Coach Dan Campbell started to call the plays, but I think it was also a combination of the fact that Jared Goff brought in some more targets. He had more tools to work with, but that also freed Amon-Ra St. Brown up as he started to mature as a player. He started to learn the system. I think he played at a different speed than he did earlier in the season, but I'll show you exactly some of the clips that I pulled out that I want to break down for you on Wide Receiver Wednesday. So let's get to it. So let's go and take a look at a few of the clips from Amon-Ra St. Brown. Against the Minnesota Vikings, we ended up seeing him make some plays. I like the fact that the Detroit Lions were targeting him and they were doing it in a way. Now, let's go back a little bit. He's not a player that's averaging 15, 17, 20 yards a catch. He's more of a possession style wide receiver. He is someone that when he worked in the slot, or even if they worked him in motion or he was working on the outside, they kept him in control routes that allowed him to play into the strength, which I think are his quickness. He seems to have really good feet at the line of scrimmage. He's able to beat a little bit of that coverage, that tight press coverage, but he's also able to get upfield with precision. And that's something I saw him working on a lot when I followed him in training camp. Looking at how he broke down in his routes when he came to the point of break. Looking at how he got in and out of his cuts and the fact that he was crisp and that he was what we call a race car on rails. And that means you come out of your breaks really tight, start to see a lot of that. He also transitioned that over into his playing part of the season. So not only did he do it in practice, but he was able to take exactly what he learned in practice, everything that he had done in practice, and he brought it over into the football game in a live environment. And that's tough to teach sometimes with your young wide receivers. Here, you know, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to come. He's going to be coming out of the backfield. And all he's going to do is come out over here and run a quick out route. And the thing I like about those type of routes with him is that it gives him the ability to get in and out of his break, use the fact that he is really, I don't call him that scat receiver, but I see him as one that has that explosiveness and that quickness. I don't know if he has the long speed. That's why we perhaps didn't see him take long routes down the field. But they figured out exactly what he could do, and that was getting separation in a short period of time very quickly and understanding how to run consistent routes. And that's what we're going to get here. And I love the fact that the Lions, not only did they pick up on that, but they continue to do that throughout the season. And it's just simple plays like that that allow him to get there. He picks up the first down, and that's what you want to see with a young player like Amon-Ra St. Brown. The next thing you do, I'm going to show you here, he's going to run another one of those out routes. Again, it's just a quick route. Whenever he runs that quick out route, it's tough for a defensive back to come up and play him. One, as I said before, when you come up and you try and press him, he has so much quickness at the line of scrimmage, and then he gets vertical in his route. A lot of players will drift, but what I've seen with him is he gets that initial contact, he gets back up into his route, and then when he comes out of it, he's able to get initial separation, which gives him that window. And that's typically all quarterbacks need, that little bit of a window to be able to get the ball in. Also, when you play off coverage with him, he runs so smooth in his route, he doesn't do what we call tipping the route. That means a lot of times players will look one way or look down, and then these are key indicators that the defensive backs will pick up on, and they are able to drive on the football. They're able to start to pick you apart and start to make you a predictable wide receiver. What I see with Amon-Ra St. Brown is the fact that he runs and he keeps his head up, he runs upfield, and he comes in and out of his break without what we call, he doesn't use a lot of movement. You see a lot of players that will throw their arms out. You see a lot of them that do a lot of chopping and when they break down. But what I see with him is very smooth. He runs in and out of his breaks and out of his routes, and that's what allows him to get separation. This is the play, though, I think that was a defining moment for him. It was his very first NFL touchdown, and it came on the last play of the game against the Minnesota Vikings at home. And I'm going to break this play down to you. There's a lot that happens here, but I think there's also there's two things that go wrong for Minnesota. One, they have the coverage. I'll show you how they're protecting the goal line, but ultimately what do? They allow the play that they're there to prevent happen. They allowed it to happen right in front of them. So what you're going to get St. Brown on the outside. All he's going to do is run up the field, and he's going to hook up inside this space. You know, if you look at the coverage offhand, you go, you know what? No way. Look at this. All right. Minnesota is defending the goal line. The last thing you expect to happen is for them to actually be able to throw into the end zone. And if they throw anywhere near the end zone, the defender should be there to keep the opponent out. You're thinking they're going to have to throw the ball short, and then the wide receiver is going to have to work his way into the end zone. Not the case. St. Brown is going to find a nice little open spot, as I said before, right up in here, because he's just going to run a nice little thin post, and then he's going to hook up inside the end zone. But what you're going to get is you're going to get this player that's going to take out this player here, which is pivotal. Now, there's this big gap that's open here because the safety is going to be playing too high, and then you got too much outside leverage by the defensive back, which gives St. Brown the opportunity, as I said before, to hit this area right here. Great read by Jared Goff. Throws it on time. It is thrown right to a right location. And this is where I talk about receivers being at the right location, at the right time, with precision. This looks like this should be a more difficult play than it is. It is a lapse in the defensive side of the ball, but it's also being on point with the quarterback and the wide receiver. So this was the one where we think, and especially me, you may agree or disagree. Please leave it in the comments if you like. I think this was a defining moment for this young wide receiver. So let's push play on this so you can see exactly how this play unfolds. And again, I was very excited to see that they were able to get this done. Look at right here. There's the receiver. He's taking the corner out. Safeties back here have dropped back. They have the double here like they're supposed to have. They have the double here that they're supposed to have. And right here, your safety is playing too high. The corner's playing too far outside. And you got this big void right up in here. Great, great read by the quarterback. Receiver finding that open spot. And what do you get at the end of that? Boom, baby. You get a touchdown. You get a player that's making a play. You get the Detroit Lions that are coming out and doing what they're supposed to do and bringing you an excitement for the tickets that you pay for. So all I say is this. We're going to continue breaking it down. We're going to continue to talk about the excitement that you should have about the receiving units that you have here with the Detroit Lions. And I'm excited to continue to break down some of these young players, to break down some of the talent that players that we're going to have on this offensive juggernaut that I think we're going to see for the Detroit Lions. So join us again for our next edition of Wide Receiver Wednesdays, and I will see you next time. But don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll be back to see you next time.
Perfect.